up, lads. I have just woken up and I haven't done my hair. Useless info that everybody seems to want on YouTube. So, AMS2. Ooh, I've got a lot to say, and I've got to be honest, it's not positive. So early last year, Razer Studios released Automobilista 2, and it was a very anticipated game, purely because it was using the Madness engine, which was used for Project Cars 2, and Project Cars 2 has a very divided opinion on it. Some people really get behind Project Cars 2, whereas other people just never got on with it. Me, for example, I happen to love Project Cars 2. I was one of those people that adored the game, and I still think to this day that Project Cars 2 is the best, alongside Assetto Corsa, for beginners. If you are just getting started out in sim racing, then get Project Cars 2 or Assetto Corsa. Or both. But the reason why Automobilista 2 was so highly anticipated is because the first one ran on the R-Factor 2 engine. So Automobilista was basically R-Factor 2 with some Brazilian racetracks on it. So as you can imagine, some people thought, oh, this is going to be the same again for Automobilista 2. It's going to be Project Cars 2 with some Brazilian racetracks on it. And is that what we got in the beginning? Kinda. For me, the game felt a bit odd in the beginning, and that doesn't mean that I didn't enjoy it. I actually thoroughly enjoyed Automobilista 2 when it first came out. I thought the VR in it was fantastic, and it felt like Project Cars 2. Now, to some people, that's a big no-no, but for me, I could get behind that. Now, fast forward a year and a half, and we get to today. Now, Automobilista 2 has had many updates, many DLCs, a very pricey season pass, and I'm sad to say it's got worse. From where it began, I feel like the game has gone backwards. Okay, right, so for the knuckle draggers in the video watching, there's the dislike button. I'll see you later. Now that we've got those out of the way, let's actually have a discussion. So before we get into it, I value everybody's opinion. I read every comment, and if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. I would love to hear what you guys think. Before I start slating the game, I'm going to find some common ground with you guys and actually talk about the stuff that I thoroughly liked about the game. The game's looks and weather looks unbeatable. The only game that I think looks better in the wet is
Assetto Corsa,
and that's with a paid mod. This game actually offers a very unique experience when it comes to day-night transitions with weather slots, because you can put weather slots in so it can transition from rain to cloudy to sunny to snow even. The only other game that does do that is, of course, Project Cars 2. There are some parts of the game where I thoroughly disagree with myself, is that this game still looks fantastic, because with the Project Cars 2 engine, or the Madness engine for that matter, you are able to create some genuinely pretty images. The game is extremely immersive, very well done, and it's great if you want to just, you know, sit back with a controller and just, you know, relax and test out all the gimmicks in it. And the one thing that I really like is the online aspect of the game. The great thing about this game is that it's so easy to play with your friends, because unlike Assetto Corsa and ACC and even R-Factor 2, you don't have to learn how to set up a server so you can play with your friends. It's all built into the game, so you can go into the multiplayer, create a lobby, and then invite your friends over Steam. That is the one thing I want in Assetto Corsa 2. Mods, and be able to create a lobby in-game. Honestly, do not have any idea how annoying it is when you don't know how to set up a lobby and you have to rely on your friends.
But Corey, you can do port forwarding your server. All you have to do is access your Wi-Fi router.
Okay, so first off, yes, I know that. However, I'm with a certain internet company where the Wi-Fi box they sent me doesn't allow port forwarding, so I can't even do it, and I want to. But that's where the positives sadly end. So I'm going to start talking about some of the physics of the game. Now, to make sure that I got my wheel settings just right, I actually asked my friend Random Call Sign to give me his Automobilista 2 settings for his steering wheel, because we both used direct drive Fanatec's, and I copied them in and I went away. And I just want to point out, okay, that Random said in all of his gorgeous wisdom with that beautiful beard, said that the Corvette C8R in Automobilista 2 was his favourite car to drive in sim racing. So, naturally, I got curious, I bought the entire DLC, and I went and tried it out, and I hated it.
You probably just join game.
Oh no, I'm testing out the C8R. This feels awful.
So, well, how's it sound? Is also a question.
sound doesn't sound right either.
The problem that I have with this game is the physics aspect when it comes to the driving, because 90% of the cars suffer from this problem. When you're driving, it feels like the car is not attached to the road. It feels like there's like a layer of cream between the surface of the road and the car. It feels like you're floating around, basically. It doesn't... It feels really unnatural.
It's just a bit too floaty. Like, you also wasn't just on the ground.
It feels like I'm, you know, like a hovercraft. So,
wait, which car are you doing?
It was the Seat R around Long Beach. I am dreadfully disappointed.
You chuck the car into a corner and you'd expect it to feel like it's planted, but it just feels like it's floating across the tarmac. It's a really, really weird experience. Now, before you comment your wheel settings in the comments section below, I actually went online and tried a bunch of different custom direct drive settings for this game, including going into the Fanlab settings itself and changing the wheel setup itself, and I just couldn't get comfortable. The formula cars in this game feel dreadful, actually. With the formula cars, it just feels like I'm driving a spaceship. None of it feels natural, and honestly, the Formula cars just feel very wonky. When you're driving the Formula 1 cars, it just feels like everything is only loosely connected by a few nuts and bolts, and that's it. It just doesn't work for me. But if you have found enjoyment in driving the Formula cars, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below. Now, I'm not going to take a dump on the physics entirely. There are some aspects in the game where I thoroughly enjoyed the physics of the game. For example, the front-wheel drive Uno, I had a lot of fun in. That actually felt like a planted car, and I had a lot of fun with it. It's a front-wheel drive little hatchback. That was honestly great. I would happily pick the game up again just to drive that car. Another thing this game does quite well is the GT3 cars. The GT3 cars actually feel pretty solid. They feel really, really good. And when me and my friends were testing the game the other night, we had a race around Daytona, and we all agreed that the GT3 cars feel really, really solid. Unfortunately, all of the GT3 cars feel way too similar to drive. There doesn't feel like there's enough difference between them. And this is where it starts to go downhill from here with the GT3 physics. There's a weird thing with the GT3, especially the mid-engined ones, like the Porsche and the McLaren, where there is no lift-off oversteer, and I went into the settings and cranked the diff to beyond belief until you'd think, that's not going to make it round a corner. And I could hardly get any lift-off oversteer, which meant I just flew around the corners. That aspect isn't realistic. Although fun, it falls a bit flat there when it comes to the mid-engined GT3 cars. But I should mention that the weird cream feeling when you're driving around a track isn't as prevalent in the GT3 cars as they are in other cars, like the Formula cars. So, top props to that. But this also leads me into another problem that I have with the game. Yes, Automobilista 2 has done GT3 very well, but that's not surprising.
Because what is everybody's favourite, category to race in? GT3.
GT3.
And why would you go into AMS2 for GT3 when you've got ACC, iRacing, Race Room? All with much superior GT3 physics.
Other games do it so much better. ACC, the original Assetto Corsa, R-Factor 2, iRacing, all of them do it better. So even though Automobilista 2 does decent GT3, why would you go to Automobilista for GT3 racing? It doesn't make sense. When you compare them to the other titles that are out there, it is mediocre at best. And my last thing when it comes to, like, driving some of the things, we tried some of the more wackier stuff. We tried the lorries. The lorries feel pretty good, but the thing is, there isn't really another title that does trucks. If you want a unique experience driving racing trucks, then Automobilista 2 is pretty much your game for that. Whether they're good or not, I cannot tell you. And I should mention that when I first got Automobilista 2, the racing trucks in that game was the first thing that had me dislocate my thumb when I had the wheel, because apparently sometimes there's a bug in the game that still hasn't been fixed where it will spike your force feedback and just put it on max, and it won't tell you that.
Why is the force feedback so high?
I'm gonna use a truck for Daytona.
It's changed my settings again. What the hell? I've got to go and get random call signs config again. What the hell? It put the gain up to 75%. That hurt.
Your thumb is gonna be dislocated again in a moment.
It's all pretty much already is.
I'll never know when they say that fish can fly.
But we also tried the go-karts in this game. Now, for a little while, I actually had a lap record in the superkarts around Monaco. That didn't last very long, but that was back in 2020. Over the course of 12 months, something has happened with the physics of the karts and most of the cars in general. They feel odd. They feel really bizarre. When you eventually get it set up right, there's this weird thing where you turn the wheel for the kart, and then it will start turning, but if you turn it a bit more, it's like a turbocharger's been added onto it, and it just all of a sudden pivots the front wheels. It's like having mouse accelerator on, but for your steering wheel. You turn it and you turn it and you turn it, and then it just goes whoosh. That isn't realistic whatsoever. And I can tell you that because I think most people has been on a go-kart. Moving on to another aspect of the game that I don't like, the grass physics are some of the worst I have ever seen. Now, I come from playing iRacing, where I know the grass physics in iRacing are bad. Unfortunately, Automobilista 2 has went hold my beer and made something that is akin to driving on ice. Now, yes, you have less grip on grass, but not so much to the point where if you are going 3 miles an hour and you turn the wheel, you don't go straight on. And that's what me and my friends unfortunately experienced when we were driving around Cadwell Park in the Ginettas. If you so much as touched a pinky into the grass, you're gone. Like, don't even try. You're not coming back. It's really, really bizarre, because you can go as slow as you can on the grass, turn the wheel, and nothing will happen. I'm not exaggerating, by the way, when I say it's like driving on ice. It literally is like driving on ice. Try it.
I really saw that in my mirror. I'm like,
Oh, I forgot about Automobilista grass.
People say iRacing grass is like ice. No, it is not.
You've not tried Automobilista grass. It's the worst. I don't feel like I'm attached to the car whatsoever. And
I wish I knew.
how do you? I'm spinning at 30 miles an hour on the grass.
How?
Yeah, try it. Try it. Oh, sugar.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, okay, let me try it. What?
There's just nothing.
Yeah.
And the tire. Just got no grip. This game sucks.
Engine sounds for the most part are spot on. Me and my mates opted to drive the Sauber C9 around Long Beach, and oh my goodness. We actually set out to record a video that day, and unfortunately, we didn't see anything because we were enjoying the noise of that engine so much with that gearbox whine. It was absolutely beautiful.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, this sound is amazing.
Mirari is absolutely nerding out right now.
He is so giddy right now. And I feel great because we're helping a 17-year-old just be a bit happier for a day.
Context. Context.
Don't worry, I got a therapist, no worries.
Oh my god! It just wants to kill you.
And the good thing is that I happen to think that engine sounds in games are rather important. If you want good immersion and to really enjoy a car, the game has to have good sound. And I am glad to say that the sounds in the game, for the most part, are brilliant. There are a couple of bad eggs here and there, like the Corvette C8R. Even though the C8R isn't a good sounding car, it doesn't sound like a C8R would. None of the Formula cars sound good. With maybe exception of the V10 and 12s, nothing outside of those two sounds remotely decent. There is also a point in the game where the game actually looks ugly as well, I've discovered. It's if you set the clock from anywhere between 11:30 to 3 o'clock, the game looks awful, to be honest. It just looks like everything's made of plastic. But I acknowledge that there are a lot of people that really enjoy the looks of this game all around. So don't take me up on that. See it for yourself. Let me know what you guys think. Other things in this game that really irritate me, and it's basic fundamental stuff that should be right. It's just the UI itself. The UI is flipping atrocious. It's some of the most bland cookie cutter crap I've ever seen. I mean, what is this? I know the HUD is adjustable, but that's what I see when I boot up the game. Now, at this point, when I play Automobilista 2, I'm not looking for a simulation. I'm just looking for something to shut my brain off to. What is that? That's terrible. Worse, though, is when you're in VR, because you've got your regular car and stuff, and that all feels natural, but then you've got your HUD, which is like right here on you, and it's all like scaled up huge. It's like playing Black Ops 1 almost from Call of Duty.
What do the numbers mean, Mason?
And yes, it is adjustable, but man, it is a ball ache to get it to adjust. Other things that are really flipping simple that they've messed up for some reason are the menus and the select screens. They are needlessly messy. For example, if you've just joined a race that's halfway through and you don't want to actually go through with that and you want to exit, you'd obviously exit the lobby. Now, when it comes to do that, you'd think it would be over here on the right where all of the other options are. Underneath continue and setup and adjustments. No, exit is not below them, where you would expect it to be. It's on the other side of the screen. Why is that there? I know it's a small aspect, but how could you mess something like that up? Now, I can already hear you guys going, just get over it already. Get on with it, you complaining neck-bearded Geordie. I know. But this is a game review. That is shoddy. The lobby screens are alright. Everything's neatly laid out. But coming to the car select, it's poor. I'm not gonna lie. The only game that does it worse than this, honestly, is R-Factor 2. That's just, it's rubbish, and this really isn't any better. Slowdown penalties. They've just been copied and pasted from Project Cars 2, basically. And to be honest, that is the worst part about Project Cars 2 for me, is the stupid penalty systems. The penalty systems go hand in hand with Project Cars 2 as the worst penalty systems. You so much as touch the grass, bing! It pops up telling you to slow down. Now, I understand that with this video I have trod on a few toes here, and some people are not going to be happy that I do not like the game. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. If you've enjoyed the game, I would actually like to hear what you thoroughly enjoyed about the game, and if you want me to go take a look at it, then I will happily go and take a look at it. But please do be respectful in the comments though. I'd like to think that we're all adults, and that we can have a civilized conversation between each other. I enjoyed the DLC of this game so little that I ended up refunding the entire season pass after about 4 hours of gameplay. I did not enjoy it. And here's the thing, I want to like Automobilista 2. That's the annoying part. I have tried my damnedest best to find an excuse to like this game, and I don't. That's the problem. As someone who genuinely wanted to love this game and make some content with it, I can't recommend this game, I'm afraid. I mean, it's good as a starter sim for people who are just starting out, but the thing is, what's wrong with Project Cars 2? And honestly, I know I'm going to get some hate for this, but for me, Project Cars 2 was a better game. While the physics in that game, on a majority of the cars, were not great, it still felt like the car was planted to the ground. But I am sad to say that I am disappointed. Even as a game that I would like to switch off and just have a bit of fun with as an arcade experience, it's too much of a simulator for me to not take it seriously and switch my brain off. And it's too arcadey for me to take it seriously. But even so, other simcades have done it better. Automobilista 2 is in a no man's land of just, what do I want from this game? I honestly don't know. So if I want to switch my brain off and stuff like that and just have a bit of fun, I'll go play Forza. If I want to take racing seriously, then I'll go to R-Factor 2, ACC, and AC. And if I want to have a lot of fun playing with something that's got semi-realistic physics, but I can just have a laugh at it, I'll go play BeamNG Drive. While there are a lot of good aspects to this game, the flaws of this game far outweigh the positives. Also, hello Erman. I see you there. I love how I'm doing all of this slating this game, and then Gamer Muscle's playing it right now.
Hello, Coyote.
Hello! But again, don't take my word as gospel. Go and try it for yourself, see what you think of it. If you don't agree with me, that's great. I have a lot of appreciation for the people who enjoy this game. So if you do enjoy this game, then good for you. I am genuinely glad. But I'm jealous because, for me, I can't enjoy this game. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching this review. I do apologize if anyone has had their feelings hurt from my opinions. This channel is in affiliation with Fanatec, so if you want any of the gear that I use in my racing videos, such as my Fanatec DD1, then my affiliate link is in the description below. And, not to mention, I am also partnered with the guys over at IMB Racewear. They provide me all of my sim racing gear and merch, such as racing boots and my racing gloves, and the Coyote Racing Team apparel. So if you want to get your hands on that, then there is also a link in the description. Go and check out the Coyote Racing collection. But anyway guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next race. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh my god!
Am I? This is basically. Oh my god! Wait, hang on. Hand him.
I can cut the track, bitch.
Disqualify!
He just popped in front of me.
Hello.
Look how far he's gone
not moving
backwards.
at all.
Look how far he's gone backwards. Look how far he is.